1 second. And there we go. Hello, everyone.
Hey, guys. We're going to get started in a moment. We're just getting everything ready. We are live on Arutz Sheva, Israel National News, the Facebook page and their website. We
and
are
the
live
Jewish Journal.
on the Jewish Journal's Facebook page.
Our
we
YouTube.
are live on our YouTube.
Our Twitter.
Our Twitter.
Yes.
We are live on our Facebook page. So check us out wherever you are. Of course, you're welcome to comment, ask questions.
We're going to talk about many interesting things. And
Curse
here
us out.
we go.
This is Eitan Weinstein.
And I'm Naor Menninger. And you're listening to Two Nice Jewish Boys.
This podcast is made in collaboration with the Jewish Journal. Check them out at jewishjournal.com. Also in collaboration with Arutz Sheva, israelnationalnews.com. If you'd like to support the podcast, visit 2njb.com/donate. All right, so where do we get started?
Well, there was this... Let me bring down the music.
Just
there
a little.
We go, yeah.
Panic on the streets of London, huh?
Yeah.
So there was an attack on the London Bridge. I think this is the second attack that was on the London Bridge or on some bridge in London.
It's a very attractive location, both for tourists and for terror attacks.
It was an awful attack. 2 people died.
Yeah.
And apparently it kind of
Polish
reminds me of the gay pride parade here in Israel, where the perpetrator of the murder was like already known to the police and released, and he was supposed to be under watch that day.
Okay.
So this guy was in prison, right? He was in prison.
He was a known threat.
Yeah, and he was released early because of some kind of bureaucratic protocol.
Right.
Where you have to be released after half your sentence or something like that, which is just ridiculous.
Right.
Then he goes and murders 2 people.
Yeah, but what went viral is the video where you see a Polish chef who just took how do you call it? Like the tooth of a whale.
A harpoon? What?
No. You haven't seen it?
The tooth of a whale?
Yeah, there's this whale, right? A very rare whale, which has one huge tooth, okay? They're called thrall, maybe? Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not making this up.
It sounds like you are.
No.
Wait, okay, so...
And so he took it from the wall. It's a long tooth.
What wall?
In the restaurant. When this chef saw the terror
what was
attack,
happening?
Yeah,
from
so
one
he
side
took
of the
from the
bridge.
wall this whale's tooth, and ran after the terrorist.
With a whale's tooth.
Yes,
Wow.
It's very sharp, very pointy.
And there was 3 of them. I saw the video. There was a guy with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah,
There was
what's
a
fire
guy with a
extinguish-
whale's tooth. And another guy with what?
Well,
Sounds like a bad game of Clue.
but yeah, and he actually used it to
That's amazing.
overcome the terrorists.
What's amazing is like the bravery of these 3 guys, or these 3
Right.
people. I know 2 of them were men. I'm not sure about the third, but it's amazing because afterwards they revealed, and I'm not sure if they knew this at the time, but the guy was wearing a fake explosive
Right, this is why the
vest.
cops shot him on
Yeah.
the spot.
And so
essentially.
I'm not sure if they saw it or not, but to see that and still pursue is just like unbelievable courage. And regardless, even if you don't see the vest, I mean, to be able to that's the idea, right? That, the good has to take down the
Right.
bad.
Also in London, I think a few days ago, a rabbi was attacked on the street. Did you hear about it?
No.
So he was attacked by anti-Semites. I'm not sure what's their origin, but they lynched him in the street. So on the same day, he bought a ticket and made Aliyah.
The rabbi?
Yeah.
Not the attackers?
No.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
So I guess it's not that much fun to live in London anymore.
Don't wait till you get attacked is, I think, the lesson. The
Right.
moral of the story. Don't wait until you get attacked. Just make Aliyah.
Yeah.
Come here
Better
before.
get attacked here
Yeah.
than there.
No, but it's crazy to see what's happening across Europe, and like London is like also, it's like the last.
Yeah, and they're pulling out, trying to at least.
Yeah.
And there's election there like in a I don't know, in a week or two.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. It's interesting. But the thing is, they shot the terrorist on the spot, right? Mm-hmm. As they say in Hebrew, without bagatz, without human rights
They
organizations.
did that in Israel.
Yeah, here they don't often do that. Not always. Well, something
well.
to... Oh, well. No need to say anything more.
Enough said.
Enough said. So, guys, holidays are coming up. And we're collaborating with the Chosen One card game, which is a fun card game.
Yeah, no, guys, it's amazing. It's actually hilarious. We've played it several times on the podcast. You should check it out. thechosenonegame.com. Basically, it's a question and answer card game, right? So they have question cards and answer cards.
Cards Against Humanity.
But the Jewish version. And it's hilarious. You match them up. It's like hours of fun. Hanukkah's coming up. It's a great gift for the holidays.
8 days of pure fun.
8 days of fun. And honestly, more. I think they have like 400 something cards in here. So
if they had the Chosen One in the Holy Temple back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It would suffice.
If the Romans had it, then they wouldn't have, maybe
massacred
still have
us.
the temple. But anyway, check it out, guys. thechosenonegame.com and use our promo code 2NJB. 2NJB, the number 2 NJB, and you get a nice discount. It helps us, and you get a really fun game. So check it out.
So Yair Netanyahu, who is Benjamin Netanyahu's son, he went to America a couple of weeks ago, and he lectured there in English to the Jewish community. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
And on the lecture, he said that essentially that his father, the prime minister, boosted the Israeli economy. He used the phrase, maybe a bit of a provocative phrase. He said that before his father came, Israel was a country of oranges export. And
he said like the only export that Israel had before his father was basically oranges.
Yeah. So putting that phrase aside for a second, like
which is obviously false.
Yeah, it's
but exactly,
it's a lecture. You want to entertain.
Well, no, it's not. That's the point. It's not a lecture. It's Yair Netanyahu, the prime minister's son. Like, you're not expecting for him to be super accurate.
Yeah, he's not a scientist.
He's not like a historian or an economist. He's a kid.
He's not a kid. He's 27, 28.
A kid.
Okay, so
if I'm a kid, he's a kid.
Makes us kids.
Kid. Yeah, well, do you not want to be a kid?
You don't look like a kid. Someone commented on our YouTube, you guys are too old to be called boys. Someone
that is not cool, man. That is not cool. Anyway, I mean, we knew that. Yeah. It was a joke, the name, but you don't have to rub it in.
Anyway, the media massacred him. They massacred him. Yeah. Who do you think you are?
And then they pointed out the fact that the phrase is false, which is ridiculous.
I got into arguments with people, and by people, I mean my grandparents, where essentially I said, look, in the end of the day, you look at the numbers. The numbers are very clear. 2009, the GDP per capita in Israel was $29,000 per capita.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's $40,000. So it's 40%.
40%.
Yeah, 40% in a decade.
Yeah.
That's it. End of argument.
Yeah, and I mean there were reforms that Netanyahu also made in his
treasury,
as minister of finance,
right?
And also in his first term of as prime minister.
Yeah. Fact of the matter is the economy is in great shape.
No, but I think the point was that what frustrated me so much is the fact that the media latches onto this one phrase and is like, oh, that's ridiculous. We didn't even export oranges, and the oranges was not one of the. It's like, yeah, that was the point of his statement, that it was about the oranges. This is what the discussion is about.
Exactly,
it's a discussion about oranges.
Fact of the matter is, Israel was not a first world country in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s even.
In the 80s, there was one of the biggest financial crashes.
Yeah, we were a socialist, Bolshevik country with very centered economy, an economy of unions, right?
Which in certain
it changed in the 90s.
We still are.
It changed in the 90s. It accelerated during the early thousands when Netanyahu was the Minister of Finance, of Treasury. And in the last decade, like $40,000 per capita, just for reference. It's almost like our GDP is almost equivalent to the UK's.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I think what's the United States?
No, it's higher. It's
the
50
United
something.
States 50 something. Yeah, but it's also.
We'll get there. But the point is, we are now.
If it's 50 something, we've closed half the gap to the United States in the past decade.
Right, and we're now the same GDP like the UK, and more than many European countries.
Yeah.
It's insane.
No, but people obviously they try and take that away from him, and it's just. I mean, they'll do anything to bash Netanyahu and to try and take him down. And we saw, and there's a whole political party that's been propped up in order to bring him down. I mean, what is blue and white if not the bring Netanyahu down party?
That's their main agenda.
Which, you could say what you want about it.
It works for them, undoubtedly.
It does. Over 1 million people have voted to bring Netanyahu down. So, I mean, and that's a legitimate desire.
The problem is it wasn't enough.
Yeah,
apparently.
It wasn't.
We're going to another election in a week.
Who knows? Maybe Lieberman, Ayelet Shaked, the Arab parties, and Stav Shafir will form a coalition together to bring us to peace with the Arabs.
I don't think so. It's in 9 days, guys. On next Wednesday in midnight, if something amazing doesn't happen, we're going to another elections.
Which should be fun. I mean, at least another vacation day.
Yeah.
But we're not going to bore you guys with election stuff.
Right.
Because we've talked about that a bunch on the podcast. Go listen to our last monthly recaps. Since, though, charges have been brought against him.
Yeah.
So read up about that.
All 3 cases.
Yeah.
Although, technically...
3 out of the 4.
Technically, no. There is no 4th.
Well, there was.
No.
It was dropped at one point.
No, there wasn't.
3,000.
No, it was never against him.
Ah, okay.
Anyway, the interesting thing though is that in reality the case isn't charged. Did you know it?
Because it's interim government.
Because he has immunity. As long as he has immunity from the parliament.
No, but he doesn't have automatic immunity.
He does.
No, that was the whole change in the law was that the immunity isn't automatic now.
No, it is automatic. You need to request to keep it.
I see. You're saying it expires after 30 days?
It expires if you don't request to keep it. But the problem is, so as long as there is an immunity, they cannot actually charge him. So technically, he is not indicted.
I also understood that. I didn't fully understand it, but I understood that there is a certain problem.
Do you ever fully understand anything?
No. I mean, do any of us? I think that there's a certain problem with. There's an issue with bringing charges during an interim government. Like, I'm not sure that there's an act because the Knesset has to.
No,
play
that's
some
the
role.
thing. That's the thing. They need to remove the immunity to indict him, right?
Yeah.
To do that, they need to apply to this committee. But this committee does not exist, so they cannot even start the process of removing his immunity.
But they don't have to start the process of removing. I thought the removal of the immunity happens automatically.
No, so the counselor for the Knesset said, because there is no government and there is no committee, the 30 days period cannot even commence.
Okay.
Okay? So what it means is as long that there is no government, they cannot even start a 30-day process of removing his immunity. So for the next month...
I thought I just read in Globes that the 30-day period just began.
It's fake news.
It's fake news?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Well, there you go. We have fake news here too, guys.
Anyway, so this is the situation. So for now, nobody knows even when they will actually charge the case.
Okay.
So it's a matter of months. If we have elections, maybe 6 months even before they even start this process. And maybe he can get immunity. If something happens and he gets 61 mandates for him, they can keep his immunity in theory.
You mean...
That's legal. It's completely legal.
During these next 9 days?
Sorry?
You mean during these next 9 days?
No. After the elections.
Okay.
They start a process. They want to remove his immunity.
Yeah.
But
4 or 5 months.
They can vote to keep his immunity. They don't have to remove it.
Yeah. You can get immunity.
Okay. So that's the update on that. Sacha Baron Cohen, let's talk about it.
Oh my God.
I mean, he was hugged by the media. Everybody, all the liberals.
I mean, he started off good. I was watching the video and it was like,
Yeah, let's.
and I mean, we'll play the video in a second, but he starts off great.
Right.
And then about halfway in, you're like, no, no. And it's like watching a train wreck.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, at the beginning,
Can you
he
tell
makes,
the audience what we're talking about?
So basically, he makes claims for, the extreme posts on social media. Basically, the leaning left of social media giants like Google and Facebook, and how they use their power against certain groups, generally left. To right-wing groups, right-leaning groups, and they leave posts up of these extreme anti-Semitic
Let's just hear. So this is from the speech was at a convention of the Anti-Defamation League, and let's just hear a bit of it.
Which depends on shared truth.
Wait, let's take it from the beginning.
Which depends on shared. Which depends. Which depends on shared truths is in retreat, and autocracy, which depends on shared lies, is on the march. Hate crimes are surging, as are murderous attacks on religious and ethnic minorities. Now, what do all these dangerous trends have in common?
I wonder. What do they have in common, Eitan?
Oranges?
No. Maybe radical religious violence. Maybe countries like Iran that spread hatred throughout the Middle East, murder thousands of people. No, maybe
Trump.
Maybe communism in Venezuela that starves
neo-Nazis
millions
in America.
I wonder what. No, not all of the above. Let's see what is democracy's danger.
I'm just a comedian and an actor. I'm not a scholar, but one
Nope, you're not.
thing is pretty clear to me. All this hate and violence is being facilitated by a handful of internet companies that amount to the greatest propaganda machine in history.
What?
No shit.
So you're telling me that the massacre in Syria, terror attacks in Europe, like the London attack, like the attack on the synagogue in Germany a month ago, all of the above is essentially, and not to forget the rockets on Israel's south a month ago, that's Facebook's fault.
Yeah. I mean, haven't you realized that people are just like monkeys? We're chimpanzees. There are a few of us that have been benevolently touched by the Almighty, but these people don't believe in God, so I don't know who they've been touched by.
They're comedians usually.
They've been granted
monopoly on wisdom.
No, like free choice, where they are able to decide things, right? They have the power. They are controlling the Facebook and all these channels. But everybody who has Facebook, they can't make their minds.
No, they're just
they can only
peons.
scroll, and whatever shows up on their feed, they
automatically believe it. Of course. Let's see what else he has to say. Oh, the liberals applaud.
Algorithms these platforms depend on deliberately amplify the type of content that keeps users engaged, stories that appeal to our baser instincts and that trigger outrage and fear. It's why YouTube recommended videos by the conspiracist Alex Jones billions of times. It's why fake news outperforms real news, because studies show that lies spread faster than truth. And it's no surprise that the greatest propaganda machine in history has spread the oldest conspiracy theory in history, the lie that Jews are somehow dangerous. As one headline put it, just think what Goebbels could have done with Facebook.
I mean, Goebbels
Yeah,
did
I mean-
fine without Facebook.
He would have done really well with Facebook. I mean, he would have been like he would have been a social media like,
Junkie.
guru.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, he
Right.
probably would have.
And
been.
maybe then he wouldn't need to be a Nazi. He would just go and lecture about
Nah,
social
he'd
media.
probably still be a Nazi.
Oh, maybe.
He'd probably still be a Nazi. But he would, I mean, yeah, the Nazis would use Facebook. What's your point?
Facebook is it's a means to
Yeah.
an end.
It's like, imagine if Goebbels had a mouth. Imagine
Use
the things
the
he would
language.
say.
Imagine he knew a language fluently, like
Yeah.
German.
Oh,
He
no.
would use the German.
Oh no. And if he had hands and he could make speeches, what would he do?
And if he had television and radio.
in
Oh
podiums.
my God.
Fucking
Oh my
podiums,
God.
man. You know,
Oh
I've
my
said the
God.
most dangerous threat to democracy has always been podiums. Podiums.
It's ridiculous. And you know, the media, they went berserk on this.
Well, yeah.
They hugged him,
No, but that's
embraced him.
That's the nature of this stuff, right? American culture is all like celebrity. It's celebrity culture. A celebrity, you know, Meryl Streep says something. It's like, let us bow.
Why? Because she's an actress.
Oh, because she's a phenomenal actress, so she must know the truth. I
Right.
don't know. That's the end of it? Because I remember seeing a bit. There's a bit in it where he starts talking about how, you know, the Holocaust denial is an awful, awful thing.
Right.
And he starts talking about how Facebook has kind of turned a blind eye to Holocaust denial and to these anti-Semitic groups on Facebook while shutting down these other, you know, right-leaning people like, you know, or YouTube like Alex Jones and stuff like that. And they kind of turn a blind eye to the anti-Semitic stuff. And, you know, like, it's an awful thing. But then he goes on to talk about how we should regulate.
Right.
Like that is
Right.
so I was really happy with him speaking out about these platforms. I think Facebook and Google and self-admittedly are leaning left. They know it, and they've admitted to it several times that they lean left, and generally most of their employees and their management leans left, and that has an influence on the platform, and it's important to point that out. But then to jump from there to regulation,
Influenced sometimes.
what do you mean?
Like in the last elections in Israel. But never mind.
Yeah, well, you know, many would say the last elections in the United States.
Yeah.
But then he jumps to regulation. Like, I don't understand. I don't get the logical
How?
jump from these platforms are doing something that's questionable to the government needs to step in.
How would the government step in? How?
By-
How? Like you would need like
I know,
hiring an
it's-
army of regulators who would go over every word written in
It's-
every language on Facebook.
It's no, the idea that the government would step in is just an abomination. I mean, it's an attack on the First Amendment in the United States. What are you going to say? You're going to say that you either have to dictate to these platforms one extreme, which is I think the less worse extreme, which is everything goes. You cannot take anybody down. Okay, unless it's not compatible with U.S. law, meaning if they're inciting to violence and they're making a call to action to murder someone or a group of people, then you take them down. Okay, but still, that's just ridiculous to force them. They're a private company; they can do whatever they want.
Right.
Or the other side of the coin is then you start meddling in their affairs and saying what's okay and what's not.
fake news and what's not fake news?
Which is just
Who's
terrifying.
to say?
I mean, that's
Who's to
1984.
say? Sacha Baron Cohen?
That's just scary. And I don't understand what makes people make this leap.
I mean,
Like,
how can we spread fake news if they won't let us, right?
and what's so bad about fake news? What
Anyway.
is so bad about fake news?
We made a life out of it.
No, I mean it's
Made a living out of it.
it's awful to tell lies, but like people tell lies. It's like trying to. It reminds me of it makes me think of the whole overparenting idea, right? Like you're trying to protect your kids so much
They become ill
that
and
they
die.
really.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Like
Yeah.
kids need to learn at some point that people lie. and there are lies out there, and you need to kind of be able to differentiate between what's a lie and what's not a lie. And if you read an article and it sounds a bit ridiculous, like, I don't know, Trump slapped some woman and raped her in the White House, then you need to probably look online and look into it. There's a great website called Snopes, and it can tell you pretty quickly if it's a lie or not. But you can I mean, if anything, the internet has given us the ability to distinguish between lies and truth much more than in the past. It's ridiculous.
Sacha stick to... I would say stick to acting, but...
Oh, he's great. I love him.
Yeah? I heard he's not that good on Ellie Cohen, on the Ellie Cohen Netflix.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No.
First of all, it's a fantastic show.
Yeah? Okay.
I think so. I mean, if anything, the Israeli actors were what kind of ruined it.
But he was good?
He was pretty good.
Okay.
And his comedies are hilarious. Have you seen The
Yeah, I wanted to...
Dictator?
Yeah. I mean, it's not my...
It's not your cup of tea.
Nah.
He's funny. It's also
yours,
especially funny
You were always a shallow man.
I was. Sacha Baron Cohen is my kind of guy. But it's always funniest to see him speak Arabic, because he always plays, like, right in The Dictator, he plays this Arabic dictator.
Right. So
This
he uses
dictator.
Hebrew words.
So he uses Hebrew, and it's hilarious.
Anyway, on another matter, a few weeks ago, I told you that Louie CK is coming to Israel, and if you want to join me and
That
go
was
to the
so nice
show,
of you.
yeah, thank you.
It was so nice.
So-
and we
so-
did indeed buy tickets.
Yeah, we buy the tickets, and then a few days before the show,
Yeah. What happened?
a few days before the show, guys, Eitan.
So I had my girlfriend just began a new job, so we decided to celebrate a little between the last job and this job, to take a bit of a refresher and fly to Europe.
The problem is Eitan said, like, I spontaneously bought tickets
To Amsterdam, which was really fun.
By the way, my stroopwafels.
Oh yeah, they're in the bag.
Okay. Go get them.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Eitan, there they are. My stroopwafels from Amsterdam.
Proof.
Yes. Oh, it's empty. Where's this? Is anything? Oh God.
There you go.
Oh, my
There you go.
sweet waffles.
There's a.
These are amazing. You're not
They're
getting.
nothing like the actual fresh ones you get in the market.
I know.
So anyway, just to finish the story. So basically,
You booked the
I
ticket.
booked tickets really spontaneously, and I booked tickets on the same weekend that we had bought. We bought these tickets, in my defense, we bought these tickets like 2 months in advance, and I had forgotten.
Yeah, but it was in
about
your
them.
calendar.
Yeah, but I wasn't like it is
before you
ve-
buy tickets abroad.
It
you
is
look
a
at the calendar.
rare weekend when I have plans. Okay, it's like once a year. Okay, so
Once in a moonshine.
once a year.
Okay.
So the chances were 1 in 52 that I had plans. Okay, so I was like, okay. So I didn't check my calendar. I booked tickets to
Anyway.
Amsterdam.
How was Amsterdam?
Amsterdam was incredible, but that is not the end of the story. The end of the story is that I booked tickets to Amsterdam. Naor had to go with like
I found a good friend who bought the
a less better person, like a worse
No, that's
person
not
to
true.
go with.
That's not
I mean,
true. He bought the ticket for
inevitably.
you.
I mean, I was your first choice.
You're ungrateful.
No, thank you, whoever you are.
Yeah,
that bought the ticket.
because my
But I
other
was
friend
your first
has
choice.
values.
Yeah, but I was your first
because
choice.
he has values.
He was. I hope he's listening. He was your second choice.
Because he has values, and since I know you have no values, I said, okay, who would go with me to Louie CK? The only one who would is you, because you have zero values.
Oh, I see. You were afraid he wasn't going to accept.
Yeah. And
That's
later
not
he
true.
told me actually regret what?
He regretted it?
Yeah, a bit.
Really?
Yeah, he had.
He had. Okay, so we'll talk about the whole Louis CK debacle in a bit. But basically, I went to Amsterdam, had an incredible weekend, sold my ticket to Noor's friend who went with him, and then came back. And then Noor, you are a golden individual. You are you have the heart of gold. And without
was
any bitterness,
He was
you
down.
sent me
because
like,
you were sad. You
I was
missed
sad
it,
that I
because
missed it.
I told you it was amazing.
Even though I did
It
have
was
an
hilarious.
incredible time in Amsterdam, like still it was. I
Right.
wasn't upset that, especially because I managed to sell the ticket. But I get back, and 3 days later, 4 days later, Noah sends me a message. It's like, hey, Louie's performing again. And so I bought tickets for 60 or 70 shekels cheaper, by the way.
What?
And ended up going to see Louie CK. So I had my cake and ate
So
it
outside the concert, there were demonstrators.
Really?
Yeah, yours didn't have any
didn't
because yours was in Hulon. Who
who was the Hulon?
to demonstrate, right?
Louis CK didn't even know where he was.
By the way, the tickets now are because he performed in Jerusalem before the whole debacle, right? A few years ago, like 3-4,
yeah.
and then it cost. It was like 500, like twice
Really?
the
It was
price.
double.
So it was double. So you
So
can
you
really
feel the hit. First of all,
Yeah.
the fact that he's coming to Israel
right.
at all just goes to show. And the fact that I was kind of calculating how much I think he made at Hulon. I think he made like somewhere around 50,000 shekels.
Which is
he
like
couldn't have made much more or much
like
or much less.
$12,000-$13,000.
Yeah, which
right?
is like nothing. I mean, he
Yeah.
performed in Madison Square Garden. He must have made somewhere close to $1
Yeah.
million on that.
Yeah. Did he make the Poland joke? Like I performed in
Oh
Poland.
yeah, because that's what I have to do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there were demonstrators, and it was. To those who don't know,
Louis CK.
let's not be too.
Well, I'm gonna say what he did. Louis CK masturbated in front of a few women,
Who were-
apparently consensual.
No, but no. What do you mean consensual? These women were his like under him. He was in charge of them in many ways. Like they.
Yeah, but I'm saying consensual as in
No,
he
but
asked.
no, but if you work with these women and you're responsible on them, it's not consensual because. Yeah, because they like if they say no, you have power over them.
Then they can lose their job.
Yeah.
They can still say no,
Yeah, but it's harder.
but they could still say no.
They could,
What I'm
but
saying
it's
is
harder.
no. What I'm saying is if they could still
According
say,
to Israeli law, it's illegal to even.
that's fine. But we're not. But law isn't morality. What I'm talking about is the moral question, and I think obviously I don't think it's okay what he did, but I don't think that it's like. I mean, we gotta, there's a spectrum, and he's not like I mean, he's part of the whole Me Too movement, and I don't think that that's like. You can say no. You can say no.
You can and you should say
And you
no,
should.
but it's hard to judge. It's hard to judge. You've never been in that place.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, no one would ask you that.
No, I don't know. I don't think that his behavior was appropriate. I think it was inappropriate. I think he got what he ultimately deserved, right?
Right.
I mean, he was kind of, but like to completely outcast them, like I'm not going to not go to a show of his just because.
It's a question, it's like the question that when you go and watch Woody Allen or Roman Polanski movies.
No, that's the difference. Roman Polanski raped an underage
He
girl.
was never charged.
Oh, come on.
He wasn't charged.
Oh, come on. The girl herself said it.
Yeah.
He
I
raped
believe he
like a
did it.
13 or 14-year-old girl.
Right, and
That
he fled from the law.
And he fled from the law.
Right,
That
and Woody
is
Allen
completely
and
and
Woody
Woody Allen
Allen
is disgusting. Woody Allen is
it's even
disgusting.
more unclear.
I mean, Hollywood is ridden with these kind of people.
What's the difference between Woody Allen and Louis CK?
There's a difference. First of all, there's allegations that Woody Allen began when she was very young in the house at 13, 14 to abuse her.
Right.
So if those are true, then that's obviously a huge difference. But even if it's not, then there's the whole element of incest, which it's not necessarily incestual because it's an adopted daughter, but still, it's just like. I think there's allegations against his biological daughter that he.
These are the allegations.
No,
it's
'cause
by the daughter, by the biological daughter.
Because there's also the issue that he married his.
Yeah, that's not the
adopted-
thing. Like,
well, that's kind of an issue to me too. The man is sick.
Well,
the man is sick, and I think there's a
special.
huge difference. Like Louis CK is like
he's also sick.
he's not. I don't think that
Someone's
he's
at the door.
Yeah, I think our guest might be early. We're recording another 2NJB episode right after this, guys. So our guest I think might be here. Anyway, so Naor will be back in a minute. But what I was saying is that I think there's a difference between Woody Allen and Louis CK. I'm sorry, I'm just horribly distracted. I think Louis CK is, of course, I think he did something awful. He did something that he ultimately paid the price for. And that's kind of why I went to his show. Now we're going to wait a few seconds for Naor to get back. And we're going to get back to it. Okay. So Naor is going to be gone for a bit, guys. Anyway, so I went to Louis CK. When was it? It was last week. It was pretty hilarious. It started with two opening acts, which I have to, three opening acts actually, two of which were just awful. He had two, I can't remember the names of the people, but he had two opening acts, one woman and one guy from some Netflix series. And they open, and it was just really bad. And it was about a half an hour of opening acts. And I kept thinking to myself, like, I went to Jim Jeffries a couple of years ago, and he had one opening act for about 10, 15 minutes, and then he came up. And I thought that was legit. Plus the opening act was like half decent. But these opening acts were just so bad that I felt to myself like it's kind of ripping people off to put up these like mediocre, not even mediocre. I mean, I think I could count the laughs on one hand. These mediocre stand-up artists, for like almost 20 minutes. But then the third guy, again, I can't remember his name. I'll have to look him up, and we'll maybe put it in the post. But the third guy just had me on the floor. I mean, he was just so funny. Honestly, at times he was even funnier than Louis CK himself. He just had this thing that he played with timing. I mean, he claimed that he didn't really that he didn't have any timing, but I think that was the whole bit, was that he would play with timing in this way that like he was just shooting the jokes out really, really fast, and you could hardly keep up. And you were laughing. You were always laughing at one joke behind. You were basically laughing. Noah's back. You were basically laughing at one joke behind. I was just telling the listeners that one of the opening acts was the third guy who had me on the floor, who was funnier than Louis himself, I thought. And he literally, like, his pace was so fast that you were always laughing at one joke behind.
Right.
You couldn't keep up with him, and you were always and then the last joke he told hit you, and you would laugh at it, and it literally hurt. Like, It was so funny.
Did you tell them how Louis?
Do you remember his name?
No.
I can't remember his name either.
Gotta catch my breath.
What just happened? I think we need to share with our listeners what forced you to basically jump ship and abandon me.
Well, what happened was, we are going to have a rabbi now for a future episode who wrote a book against sexual harassment in the Orthodox community, a children's book about it. And he's leaving. He's here for a tour, and he's leaving tomorrow. And oh my God!
Oh, and they sent the email.
They wanted,
and then he sent the books.
Some copies.
Just now. Oh God!
For him to pick up. Oh God! Anyway,
that's the fastest you've ran down and up those stairs, huh?
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the whole Louis CK thing. He talked about it on the act. Did you?
Yeah, he did. He talked first of all, he came out on stage and he was like, "Well, what have you guys been up to for the past 2 years?"
Yeah,
which I thought was hilarious. But then at the end, he brought it up, and his bit was basically, if you ask someone to do something sexual and they say yes, ask again, and then still don't do it, which I guess is.
Gabrielle says, Naor is right. Thank you. That is it. I don't. Do we need to read the rest of it?
Where are we? On 2NJB?
Yeah, you'll on 2NJB. She says, Naor is right. It was an abuse of power, and that's the immoral part. The same way that a teacher can take advantage of a student, even if they consent.
So I don't think that there is, Gabrielle, I think there's a difference between a teacher and a student. One, the student, if we're talking in the realm of prior to like high school and before, then the student is underage and they're a child, and that is abusing a child, which is obviously very severe, much more severe in my eyes than two consenting adults. Now, I do agree that there is a power relationship between an employer and an employee. And generally, you know, if something is stipulated in the law, then that's fine. I generally think that that stuff should be left up to contractual agreements. You know, and I think employment in general is an agreement between two people. It's not like I don't agree with this whole perspective of like the employer holds some like extreme power over the employed, like because you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that it's an agreement. In the end, being employed by someone is an agreement. It's saying, you're going to pay me this much, and I'm going to do this for you.
But if I want the job, okay? If I want the job.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
And someone keeps abusing me sexually, and I tell him I'm not interested, but he continues to do that.
You should leave, because that's a bad environment to be in.
But I want the job. But the job is great, and this guy, because this guy is an asshole, I need to leave? It doesn't make any sense.
This guy is employing you. He's one side.
No, let's say he's above me, but he's not the direct employer.
No, so that's different. Then we're talking about a whole hierarchical structure of a corporation.
Yeah.
And yeah, in a corporation should stipulate these things and generally do that intimate relationships between employed and employee.
But don't you agree to sexual harassment?
No, but Louie CK is a one-man show. He employs people. He has agreements with people. And that's what I'm saying. That
there were TV sets and producers. You know, these things happened on sets where there were actors. So it's not. It's
again. I think you should say no, and then you should come out. And then you should come out immediately.
Okay, but if it doesn't help,
no. But that's what I'm saying. That I think that there is this painting of victimhood of these women, and I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I think that these women might have actually sort of been okay with it, brushed it under the rug in order to progress. And I think that that's the problem, that when you are willing to endure shitty behavior, then you're also part of the problem. And you shouldn't, like, you know, as an adult, then you shouldn't be able to endure that. You should say no to it. You should immediately go to someone.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, of course. It's always easier said than done. But I don't think that...
What do people say in your...
We don't have any
nothing? Okay.
Comments in Arutz Sheva.
Okay.
Just God bless Israel.
Well,
which is... Yeah.
Amen to that.
No God bless Louis, though.
No. Okay, I think we can wrap things up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So before we go, guys, first of all, we're on YouTube and we need subscribers. So if you like the show, please go to YouTube, write Two Nice Jewish Boys, and subscribe.
And hit the bell button.
And
apparently
hit the bell
that's
button.
Important.
And soon, hopefully, if Eitan is willing, we'll post original content there.
I'm willing and ready.
Okay. And we're collaborating with two amazing news outlets. The first is the Jewish Journal. They're at jewishjournal.com. They have podcasts like the David Suissa podcast or the Shmuel Rosner podcast, and they have amazing articles and news and opinions and op-eds. So check them out, jewishjournal.com. And
we're collaborating with Arutz Sheva, Israel National News. You can check them out at israelnationalnews.com. And they have a Facebook page, so check them out. They have also good content. And we're on their website, and we're on their Facebook page. And, of course, guys, thechosenonegame.com. Check them out. Use our promo code 2NJB.
The perfect Hanukkah gift.
Really, the perfect Hanukkah gift. Like, there's nothing better. It's hilarious. So check them out. The Chosen
Sufgania.
One. No.
You eat Sufgania and you play it simultaneously, and your senses are like...
Yeah.
Exploding.
So thechosenonegame.com.
And also we accept donations.
Yes, we do this on our free time. So go to 2njb.com/donate if you want to help us out and support the podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening, for tuning in. And we will be back with a new episode.
Later this week.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you. Wait.